Thank you very much for coming. We have the real pleasure to have a press conference with Ambassador Haber, whom you've seen him on TV and you've heard us talking a lot about him. He came this morning to brief all the ambassadors of the PSC on the latest developments in Georgia, in particularly in relation to the European Union monitoring mission, which he leads. And we asked him to spare some time for us because it's a good opportunity to know more about the mission. You know, it was launched on the 1st of October, and important developments have taken place since the launching. So with this, I pass the floor to him. Then we'll have time for questions. Thank you very much, Ambassador.
Thank you. Good afternoon to you all. Well, it's less than 1 month that we hit the ground running with our mission. We fulfilled our obligation under the Sarkozy-Medvedev plan to put at least 200 civilian monitors on the ground. In fact, it's 225 now. The first days were rather charged, as you know, and I think when the Russian forces withdrew from the adjacent areas on the 8th of October, an important part of our mandate was fulfilled. 35,000 civilian internally displaced persons could return to their homes and rebuild their lives. Now our main tasks consist in first stabilizing the situation or monitoring the Georgian police forces as they reintroduce law and order in these areas, and on the other hand to normalize and to introduce confidence-building measures, which we want to do by initiating a cooperation of law enforcement agencies on the ground on both sides of the administrative boundary. So this is where we stand, and maybe I take your questions.
So, yes, we'll start in here, please.
Hansjörg Haber, the Hungarian news agency MTI. Mr. Ambassador, there are complaints from South Ossetian side saying that there are provocations from the Georgian side, shootings sometimes, and the EU monitors are idle. How do you react to that?
Well, we are active in the region. We follow up every information that we get. In general, the observation is that such reports are overblown, and there may have been isolated shootings, but no major incident has been registered. We are actually pleasantly surprised about the evolution of the security situation in the adjacent areas. I have heard, of course, the complaints of the South Ossetians, but they should give us the names, they should give us the places, and they should give us the time. And we are pleased to come over to their side of the administrative boundary and inspect what has happened there, ask questions to witnesses, and then report objectively and according to the highest standards.
Okay, yes.
Alvise Armelini from Italian agency APCOM. As a follow-up on this, yesterday there were some words also from the Russian foreign minister, Mr. Lavrov, that I think called your mission careless. Can you just sort of give more details on what kind of information you've been receiving from the Russians or from the South Ossetians? I mean, how many reports? I mean, do they call you up? What kind of contacts do you have with them? Do you speak to them on the phone? Do you speak to Moscow? Do you speak to South Ossetia?
Well, I can give very little details because we don't get any details from the Russians. We just get general allegations that there are shootings. We do our best to survey the area. We cannot entirely exclude it, but we need to be given details in order to be able to verify it. And relations with the Russians is another difficult topic because they are now just in the process of exchanging their peace troops for regular troops, and we don't have literally any telephone number on their side so far. We've been asking for it, and I will ask for it again in this framework, but we don't have it at the moment. We work with the Russians through the interest section at the Swiss embassy where they are represented in Tbilisi.
Anya.
The follow-up question, время Russian, а не веденская. Lavrov criticized you actually on 2 points. He said that you take easily your responsibilities, was the first point, because there's shooting, etc., that was mentioned by my colleagues. And the second point is that he said that one point of the Sarkozy-Medvedev plan was to retreat of Georgian troops to the places of their permanent location, and that wasn't implemented recently as agreed.
Yes, to the first part of your question, I can only reiterate what I've already said. We need to be given the details, and then we will follow up on them. But we were not given them. As far as the Georgian troops are concerned, you are alluding to point 4 of the 6-point plan, and we are in the process of convincing ourselves with the Georgians that they have no aggressive posture towards the administrative boundaries of the 2 breakaway entities.
So can you rephrase it?
Yes.
Can you rephrase it?
We receive information from the Georgians, both about their police dispositions and about their military dispositions, so that we can be sure that there is no posture of the Georgian side which allows them to resort to the use of force against the administrative boundaries.
But they didn't retreat to the dislocation. But they didn't retreat as accorded in the plan into the places of their permanent location.
Yes. This the point 4 of the plan we understand as a measure to end hostilities, not as a disposition for all times.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Sorry, there's a couple of details I don't quite understand. Firstly, I thought from Lavrov as well there was some accusation about the Georgians having special forces in the buffer zone, and on the other side that this Russian build-up was happening. So what are you monitoring? What are you actually seeing? And were you offered to the South Ossetians to come across and speak to witnesses and so on? Is there a precedent for that? Has that happened at all before, or it's just borders closed and that's it?
Yes. Well, to answer the last part of your question first, I mean, you know that OSCE observers were on the other side of the administrative boundary, but as far as we're concerned, it has not happened. They have not invited us, and of course we are only there since 4 weeks, so there was not much opportunity to invite us, but we want them to invite us, and we invite them to invite us. As far as the Georgian special units are concerned, we have pretty accurate information on them. We are monitoring them. That's part of our mission. And actually, the Georgian special forces are not what the Russians understand under special forces. They are much lighter armed. They are not traveling in armored vehicles. They have no heavy armament. And it's a police form. It's police units, which we believe they need to restore law and order in the adjacent territories. And we think that the numbers they have deployed are commensurate and adequate to do just that job.
So they are there.
Yes.